How good can a first sentence be? We're about to answer that question on a tier list by ranking the first sentence of classics, modern classics, ultra popular, ultra renowned books that I have never read, that I have not read the first sentence. And so we're going to read the first sentence and rank it and see how it stacks up. Last time I did the last sentence of books that I've already read. So if that interests you, watch that one after this one. So starting from the bottom up, we have never starting. This sentence just turns me off from the book. I don't care about it. I'm never going to read it. Then we have not good. It's just like, it's not that good. It's, it doesn't make me like never want to read the book, but it's not that great. Maybe. It's like okay, I'll read some more. This isn't on my get rid of list. Like if I had this book, I'd keep it, and maybe one day I'll get around to it. Interested, like okay, there's some things here. I want to read more. I want to discover more about this world or this book. Top of my to be read. Like okay, there's something here. As soon as I'm done with the book I'm reading now, this is it. This is next. I want to read it. I want to keep going. Starting now. Like I'm dropping whatever book I'm reading. This sentence is just, engulfed my mind that I want to read the book. I want to figure out what's going on. Read in one sitting. This is the best of the best of first sentences. That, wow, I've never read a sentence like that that captures me so much that I just want to read the whole book right now. I don't think we're going to have too many books in that. I just don't think that is such a hard bar to hit, and we'll see what we got. Okay, we're going to start with Dawn Quancenton. Dawn Quincion. A classic. I've never read it. I've always wanted to. I can never find the unabridged version. And here's what we got. In the village of Manka, the name of which I have no desire to call to mind, there lived not long since one of those gentlemen that kept a lance in the lance rack, an old buckler, a lean hack, and a greyhound for coursing. Great start to this list. Like, this is doing what you want a first sentence to do. It gives you a little bit of the world, a little bit of the character, and a little bit of the flavor of the story. What's the world? In the village of Lanmanka, a name of which I have no desire to call to mind. Like, just, you already kind of feel like the dry sarcasm, the humor, one of those gentlemen, just like a nobody, lance rack. I don't even know what that is, but that interests me. And so this is great. This is a great first sentence, top of my to be read. Like this doesn't make me want to like stop what I'm reading, but yeah, this is it. I'm like, okay, that next, I'm good. I like that. Next, man, go from ancient to modern. A court of thorn and roses. The forest had become a labyrinth of snow and ice. I think doing a lot less, and not just because it's less sentence than the last one, but there's some intrigue here. A forest is usually green, lush, happy, fantasy vibes. But snow and ice, a labyrinth. There's some, mystery. You're lost. There's maybe some danger. And so I think this is a good. I think this is a perfectly fine first sentence. It makes me a little bit interested in the book. Like, okay, I see what's going on here. I'm interested. I can see this. Next one, we have The Stand by Stephen King. I've only read a couple of his books. Hapscom's Texaco sat on number 9 just north of Arnett, Pissant 4th Street, Berg, about 110 miles from Houston. Wow, what a bore. If this is your style of first sentence, that's great. I don't like it. And I just don't care about the details right now. Like, sure, maybe at the end of this chapter, and I know that this is kind of Stephen King style, and it feels very much like a sentence of him, but this is going in the not never starting. That just tells me what I need to know about that book, that I don't care. And that's fine, but that's not going to be a book that I'm going to enjoy or read. Next, The Little Prince. Once, when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book called True Stories from Nature about the primeval forest. This is such a classic children's opening. I've actually been reading a couple of children's stories recently for some reason. And what they do is they give you normal people, a normal kid, a normal family, and then that family discovers a super crazy magic or a story, or you know they get transported into a new world. And I know that it happens in other stories, but with fantasy, adult or young adult fantasy, we just jump straight into that world. We don't need the like buffer time or buffer understanding. But I think it's beautiful in a kid's story because what it does is it makes the kid curious if that magic is in their world. And in a sense, reading this book, The Little Prince, which I've heard is great, is discovering some of that magic too. And so this is oh man, it's got to be top of my to be read. And I know that's like a kid's book, and so like is it actually on top of my to be read? No, but it is so great, and I think it belongs in these other top tier sentences of that just do what you want them to do. It makes you interested in the story. Mistborn. Wow, hi, can we not do that? Mistborn. Ash fell from the sky. Kind of in the court of thorns and roses. I don't know which one book came out first. I think Mistborn did. It's like this natural phenomenon of rain usually falls from the sky or snow. But those are usually good things. You would say like a thunderstorm or a storm or I don't know, a tornado or something if it was bad rain. But usually rain is a positive thing. And so replacing that for ash, definitely some like creepy things going on. Definitely some mystery. There's no character, there's nothing about the world. Like ash falls from our sky. I grew up in California, so we have fires all the time. And so this is like a maybe. This is not the strongest of these first sentences. It's a maybe. I'd keep reading it, but just reading that sentence alone doesn't really do too much. Know my name. If you had asked me the day before the assault what I wanted most from my life, I would have said, I want to be a writer. Hits my heart because I am a writer and I do want to be a writer. Plug to my book on Amazon, The Scavenger Hunt. But this is great. This does so much for us. It tells us where we're at. It's the day after the assault. It tells us what the character wants most to be a writer, which writer is usually like associated with calm and peace and slowness. You know, writing words are your sword, not your hand. So usually a very passive person. But because they're in the assault, it seems like they're kind of being pushed to not be passive. And so I think this is a great sentence. Um, definitely, definitely top of my to be read. Like this is that's what you want in a book. I don't know the genre or anything else about this book, so if it's not my genre, it might not actually be in the top of my to be read. But I think the sentence itself is doing great work. The will of the many. I tell them that I belong. They believe. Great, man. Great sentence. This perks my interest. Who's the they? Why do you want to belong? What's going on? Definitely interested. I like this. I like what's going on. I'd read more. Project Hail Mary. I think this one's a sci-fi, so that might help me out here. What's 2 plus 2? So probably like kind of computery stuff. It's just too simple for me. Like what's going on? 2 plus 2, 4. We automatically answer that question, which maybe is what the book is going for, and that's great. I just don't know because this is only the first sentence, guys. Like This isn't ranking the first paragraph or first chapter of these books, just the first sentence. And going off just this sentence of what's 2 plus 2, it's kind of not good. Compared to Ash fell from the sky, that puts us like right into the action. The forest became a labyrinth of snow and ice that, there's already forward moving action. And don't even get me started on top of my to be read. Like, they're longer, I get it. And so I don't think that just short sentences are better, but I don't think it's helping this cause. I mean, look, the stand is down here, and that looks like it might be the longest one. The Way of Kings by Brendan Sanderson. Sireth, son of Elon, truthless of Suoth, wore white on the day he was to kill a king. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Fantasy, I think. So I have no idea what these names mean. I have no idea what this location means, this title. Who cares? All we know, wore white on the day he was to kill a king. Mwah. Perfect, starting now. Like, that is what we want in a sentence. That's action, that's stakes, that tells us about the character. He's going to be someone who kills a king. That is not common. How many of you guys have killed a king? I've never killed a king. I don't have what it takes. So, great job, Way of Kings. Red Rising, our last one. I would have lived in peace, but my enemies brought me war. We'll give it the one sentence. Again, I think this is starting now material. I would have lived in peace. Again, telling us about the character. But my enemies brought me war. Tell us about the setting. We're in a war. Tells us where we're going to fight our enemies. What more do you need in a story? Who you are, where you're at, and what you're doing. Just beautiful. I don't think it's read in one sitting material. Oh, maybe it is. No, I don't think so. But starting now, for sure. So those are our tier lists. Stephen King at the bottom, fantasy at the top, which I don't know what that says about me. But if you have any thoughts or disagreements, let me know. I would love to know. If you want to drop a book that you want me to rank, if it's one I've read, I'll put it in my ranking the last sentence. If it's one I haven't read, I'll put it in the ranking the first sentence. So have a good